Hello and welcome to the very first edition of the Lodcast here. My name is Paul Docherty and today I am joined by my friend and superstar Grant Davison, aka Duncan Disorderly. How are you?
What about you, Doggo? You keeping all right, big son?
I'm doing the best, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me in this.
Mate, pleasure. It's just bad crack that we have to organise a podcast to see each other these days,
Well,
but, it's that's life, isn't it?
If that's the way it's going to be from future, we could do a podcast every other week.
Let's do that, mate. In a bar somewhere would be even more preferable,
Well, we'll certainly get a couple of pints for next time. Would you prefer Grant or would you prefer Duncan for this?
Yeah,
this podcast?
Grant, please, mate.
No problem. Well, I'd like to thank you again so much for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about your career and how you got involved in wrestling. And hopefully, maybe you're going to tell us about a comeback, but we'll get onto that later.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds good.
So, firstly, how did you become Duncan Disorderly?
Well,
where did it all begin for you? Did you grow up being a wrestling fan? Did it just fall off?
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. I remember used to watch it in my granny and granddad Davison's house on like a Saturday afternoon. Everybody always talks about the old World of Sports Day. Remember Mick McManus and all those guys? We used to watch that then, and then I remember watching NWA and then later WCW on a Saturday afternoon, ITV. It used to be the same every week, Z-Man, Tom Zink versus Arn Anderson and stuff. Yeah. And
those are the days.
And yeah, I thought I was hooked, man. And then I remember
the Four Horsemen.
The Four Horsemen, man. Still throw up the four every now and again. Love the Four Horsemen. So yeah, I was just hooked, man. Everything about it just won me over. And I remember getting my first wrestling figure at a choice. I was Toy Master in Connswater. I remember there was a double pack of WCW Galoob ones, which didn't have any articulated joints.
They didn't move. That's right.
It was Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, or for the same price, you could get Ravishing Rick Rude, and he did the Rude Awakening, which wasn't the Rude Awakening at all. He did a headlock and a punch.
I think
and I went for Rick Rude, and so then I remember my brother saying, "Oh, this is his new toy. What do you say? He'll be into something else the next week, And that was like, you wait and see. I'll become a wrestler, right? I'll fucking show you, So that's because I was stubborn wee bastard like that. And so that's how it all began for me. And grew up watching it, and then in around 1990 or so, we got Sky. And
game changer, an absolute game changer.
Man, I remember I had to get my mum's cousin Wallace. He was the only one in the family who had Sky, and he was taping WrestleManias and all for me, and I was watching them over and over and over again. And then when we got Sky, that was it. That was my life doomed to the world of professional wrestling from the next 35 years or thereabouts. So massive fan growing up. Always just loved it. Love the wrestling figures. If you ever seen my man cave, you'll probably say, still frigging collect them at 40 years old.
Have you got a favourite figure?
A favourite figure of all time? It's hard to beat the old Hasbros from back in the day, But one of my favourites would have to be the Holy Grail, which I only got about 5 years ago when I had a wee bit of a renaissance with it. And would have to be a Dusty Rhodes Hasbro, because that one eluded me my whole life. And I got all of them. And then I finally, it was my mum was moving house, and I got out the attic, and I found all my old wrestlers, and my son was just starting to get into wrestling.
Yeah.
And I took all my old wrestlers and scrubbed them with a toothbrush, and he loved playing with them, and I loved playing with them. And then I decided, you know what, I need to go to IKEA and get a cabinet and display these bad boys. And then I was like, there's a few missing from the collection.
Yeah.
And then off I went on eBay and maxed out PayPal credit, trying to get all the ones I didn't have and stuff. And the obsession began again, So, man, it would have to be Dusty Rhodes, just because I never thought I'd ever have him. Couldn't get my hands on him. Searched for him my whole life, and then a few years ago, I finally got him. And then my son brought him to my mum's house one day. I didn't know he'd brought him, and he fucking broke him. He broke his arm, but he's for display purposes only now, but still got him. So that's the main thing.
I had a Lifestyle sports bag plastic bag full of wrestling figures as a kid.
I think everybody did, man.
Yeah, I had everyone, everyone about. Like, you know, I had Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
I had a Keem. You know, I don't know how many different versions of Hulkster there was back then. I remember getting Demolition, thinking of, you know, these are real cool ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no idea where they are. They were.
Oh, man.
I think maybe around the time Baywatch came out, I maybe put them at the back of the cupboard.
Right.
They were maybe handed down to another Doherty.
And then Pamela Anderson took over.
Yeah.
Yep, that happened to me too, dude. I actually had a Pamela Anderson bed sheet in my room, and that I think I was like a dog with a pillow with that fucking thing when I was growing up. I'm telling you. Yeah, it wasn't the Ultimate Warrior on the walls anymore. It was out Pammy in a red swimsuit. You know.
Yeah, that's I think we could definitely do a podcast.
Thanks for the memories, Pam. By the way, you're a legend. Thank you.
Yeah,
got me through some hard times.
Yeah, series 3 to 7 Baywatch. Still the pinnacle of TV. So, big wrestling fan as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
You're playing with your wrestling figures.
Yeah.
Watching WrestleMania every week. Like myself. I loved it. We'll talk about my favourite. We'll talk about your favourite wrestling moment of all time as a kid.
Okay.
And I'll tell you mine, because I still think mine's one of the best sporting moments of all time.
Okay,
let
cool.
alone just best.
Be interesting to see if we correlate.
It actually still gives me, I suppose, say speed bumps, goosebumps listening to it. But so we're watching wrestling. I was a fan too. I didn't become a wrestler though. So what was the next bit? How did you become a wrestling fan? I actually want to give this a go.
Well, that was didn't see that come myself either, Paul. I'm a pretty overweight kid, and so I spent a lot of time in my bedroom playing with my wrestling figures, you know. So I didn't think that was probably ever going to be a thing as much as I wanted it to. I'm really shy and reserved kid, insecure as all hell. 2 handsome older brothers who were in great shape, and then the runt of the litter who was chubby, and you know. So then really in my sort of mid-teens I started exercising, and man, you know, that just changed my life. I still like, you know, obviously I'm a personal trainer and run a gym and fitness business and all now, but that just took me to okay, I can, sort of, from like there's no way I'll ever, to why the hell couldn't I, you know. And so I started running, and I started hitting the gym and doing all this, and then I was reading Power Slam magazine. I've still got all of them up the stairs actually in a big box, and I remember seeing an advert for NWA Hammerlock over in Kent, and I just thought, you know what, I can do this. You know, I want to do this. But I remember a year prior, Fit Finlay Senior was in the Country House Hotel in Kells, and my dad worked there, and he got talking to him, and he'd asked about wrestling and all for me, and I was just, no, I couldn't do that. And in that year, when I sort of found exercise and started to get this confidence in myself, and started to, like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't in amazing shape, but I just wasn't fat anymore, and I sort of kind of fell in love with exercise, and just grew so much self-confidence that I was like, yeah, I can do this. So it was either 14 or 15, I signed up to my first ever wrestling course over in Hammerlock, NWA Hammerlock, over in Kent, in Sittingbourne, and made the journey over. My dad came with me on the first one, and weirdly, I was the youngest there by far, but I don't know, man, I've got a theory behind this, but I kind of just took to it, and my theory is I watched it so much so I could learn how to do the moves with my wrestling figures, that I knew how to do all the moves pretty much instinctively before. Because it's just weird, you pick it up sort of via osmosis. It was the same to my son. He loves football, and the first sort of 6 months of his football career, he didn't watch it. He couldn't sit through a match, and I said, "Man, you're kid, like, you got to start watching this, because you're going to pick so much up from that." And then he started watching it, and now he's obsessed with it, and now, like, he's just got so much better. There's just instinct there that that he doesn't realize he's absorbing it all by watching it, but he is, and he knows what to do in certain situations. He doesn't even know he knows what to do, but he just instinctively does. And I think I had that with wrestling. So on my first ever trip over there, again, youngest kid there, the best trainees at the end of the week got to go on to a show that they were doing. They were doing like a local like house show in the Lees Cliff Hall, Margate or something like that. And I was chosen as one of the best trainees to take part in it, you know, after my first course. And I remember Andre Baker, my coach, lent me some wrestling boots for it. And at the end of the week, I said, you know, I'll have to buy some wrestling boots. And he says, just keep those. I appreciate the fact that you've come all the way from Northern Ireland to be here and do this. So they're my gift to you, you know. And
you remember that?
And big time. It was like, because he was kind of like, he wasn't the nicest guy to everybody, but he shouldn't have been, because he had to get the best of everybody, and he was tough, but that weeded out the people who were committed and the people who weren't. But underneath it all, he knew that, you know, I saw that he was a good guy. He's just a hard ass coach, and I have to be like that in my line of work. And it doesn't mean you've got, you know, you're showered with gifts all the time because everybody loves you, not necessarily, but they know that I push them a certain way because I want to get the best out of them, regardless of whether we fall out or not, you know. And so I sort of took quite a lot of that from him, but I knew at the bottom of it he had a good heart. So so that was my first trip, and then I remember coming home from that, man, and I felt like I'd just come home from war, you know. I was battered and bruised.
I was going to say, what was
I
it
was
like
aching, and I'm
taking
like,
your first bump?
Like, I think we left at 4 a.m. We got over there and we went on there. I don't know how many trains in the underground. Get there, arrive there, walk about a mile with fucking big bags over the shoulders, set down the bags. Right, okay, we're warming up straight away because it already started when I got in. And before you even knew how to take a break fall, you're slammed 5 times on the judo mats, you know. Fuck me, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, right. And the first day was particularly rough again. I think to weed out anybody to see who, and quite a few people didn't come back, you know, but I was back raring to go the next day, but I came home from that and it was just a game changer from then, you know. Every day after that, I was just like, right, I just got to go to the gym every day and just work harder and work harder and work harder till the next camp comes along, and then go back, you know. And I kept going back for about 3-4 years after that, and so yeah, that was my start, you know.
Yeah, so 3 or 4 years you're going back and forth to Kent.
Yeah, sometimes twice a year. There was like summer camps and like an army barracks and stuff. I remember there was one, and then there was like, you know, Halloween camps and stuff like that. I was going quite often, you know. I did actually. Finn Balor, Fergal Devitt, Prince Devitt, whatever you want to call him, actually sent me a picture one time and said, "Is that you in the background?" Like, and it wasn't a Nike Jordan freaking shirt and my curtains and my hair. It was the picture was taken of him wrestling with somebody else. So I didn't even realise I was in the same course as him one time, you know. Yeah. So back and forth it went, and then that's how it blossomed. So you know,
3 or 4 years over doing that. You're coming back to Belfast then. What about your first match then? Had you wrestled properly at this stage, or were you just still all learning?
No, like basically, again, the best trainees got to do a show at the end of the week when they had one booked. So I got booked with another trainee. Tex Benedict, I think his name was, and me and him had to do a handicap match against this guy called Sebastian P. Sterling, but the ring broke before, and we could use the ring, so we basically had to go in, get slammed, and get pinned and get out, so we were jobbers for the night, but that happened. That was one of my first matches. That was in a battle royal, another one. Can't really remember much more than that, but that was how it really all got started, you know. But it was when I was at one of the courses, I remember that's where I got my name, because I was over doing a course, and I remember we were having a few drinks. I must have been a wee bit older then. Because obviously I wasn't underage when I was drinking. Anybody listening out there, that would be bad. But I remember having a few drinks and telling something. I think it was actually Nikita I told, who was in WWE as Katie Lee Burchill, remember telling her what my ring name was going to be, and I didn't want to tell anybody in case anybody stole it. But it was going to be Duncan Disorderly. And interesting fact for you, where I got it from. It was the headline of the Sun one time when Duncan Ferguson headbutted somebody outside a nightclub. Duncan Disorderly. I was like, fuck, I'm having that. That's class. Because I remember there was like Just Incredible. I remember at the time names of guys. I thought those were clever, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Duncan Disorderly, just like, yeah, I'm nabbing that. An interesting other story about that is I later found out that Steve Coogan's character, Paul Calf, that he does, was originally called Duncan Disorderly as well. Go. So there you go, man. So there's the history. Company. There's the history behind Duncan Disorderly. But yeah, Nikita was the first person that told that in confidence with a few drinks on me.
Brilliant.
So there you go.
Good company there with those guys, anyway.
Yeah.
So you've got the name. What about the image then? Do you have to work on your image? Do you have to think about that as much, or do you think the work is more important, or is it all part of it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I remember Andre Baker said to me, nobody wants to see their neighbour in spandex. That was one of the things he said, and it always stuck with me. So that's why whenever I went back home after camps, it was just right hit the gym, and I didn't overly know what I was doing. Just lift heavy things until you can't lift them anymore, And so I really worked on, and I just hit it the right time when your body's producing all the testosterone and all, you're growing and you're maturing and your testosterone's highest it's going to be, and you're taking that to the gym every day and working with it, and so I just think I hit it at the right time, because I kind of just found it not easy, because I really pushed myself hard, but I found I was able to put on muscle, more so than like the likes of my brother, who's 2 years older than me. He would be more lean and ripped, whereas I'm more, bulky. I just found I was able to gain mass a bit quicker, So, so that's how that happened, and then working on the image then. So then it basically went from that to I started doing jiu-jitsu over here just to kind of keep ring fit. At a local place. They caught wind that I did a bit of wrestling. They were doing a kickboxing show for charity, and then they thought, could I work with some people to try and put on a wee bit of a wrestling match in the ring at the end? And I remember me and my mate Big Neil Warren, shout out Bobby Lee Harm, love you dude. Me and him had a tag team match against Chris McCaffrey, who's a guy, he's a BJJ guy, and he looks like the nicest guy in the world, but he'd kill you on the mat. He's deadly, but he's a good lad. And Gary McKibben, the guy who ran the jiu-jitsu school, and we did like a wee charity show at the end of the kickboxing. Now, thank fuck there's no footage of that, because I'm sure it was, bowl and shoe ugly, but it was weird because there's a few people showed up, not so much for the kickboxing, but to watch that bit. One of them being Bonesaw, who's like my tag team partner in the Kings of the North, and a few other guys, Stevie Shaker, Babymaker, Frankie Fever, these guys who would later then become my co-owners of Ulster Championship Wrestling with. And then, oh man, this is going to take a while. Sorry if I'm boring, you just cut me off, dude. But there's a bit of a story. So we all started doing the jiu-jitsu thing, and then we started doing like an impromptu wrestling class. Then the promoter of the jiu-jitsu gym decided he was going to try his hand at wrestling shows in the King's Hall, using the guys that we got. Now, none of us were ready to be in a ring. But that was Fight and Fit Wrestling, I think it was called. We did a few shows, but we kind of got a little disgruntled because we were still paying this guy every month. We were doing all the matches and doing all the promoting and everything, and we were paying him, We sort of thought we should be getting something for this. Yeah. So one of the guys, Stevie Shaker, the baby maker, shout out Stevie, wherever you are, dude, give me a call. I haven't heard from you in ages. Decided that we could maybe do this, and we could branch off and start our own wee club, and we did, and we tried to end it amicably, but that jiu-jitsu club didn't want that. They kind of had other plans and made up some lies about how we left and whatnot, but it was done with the utmost respect. But so we started Ulster Championship Wrestling, and then we went to the King's Hall and did our shows and stuff. And again, I hope the footage of any of these shows is destroyed, because I'm sure it was awful. I know right now, from what I remember, it was awful. But we had a scream doing it. We really enjoyed it, and it kind of opened a few doors, because next thing we were getting I got sort of picked, and Stevie Shaker got picked to go down to a show in the National Stadium in Dublin for an English promotion that was coming over to do a show over there, and that one featured Perry Saturn and the Sandman. So this was big time for me, because I was getting to meet these guys, and I was a big ECW fan. And then we did a Prison Rules match, I remember, in that show. And oddly enough, in the crowd, Joey Cabray, now owner of OTT, was in the crowd watching it. And then Joey got in touch with UCW, because he was wrestling down south doing a promotion down there, and we sort of did like a talent trade-off. Then started just UCW started to get better, and we started to travel down south and work for NLW, No Limit Wrestling, and they came up and worked with UCW, Ulster Championship Wrestling. And it kind of just kept on evolving and building and growing, So, but it's weird how, the sort of founding fathers of the Irish wrestling scene all kind of meshed early on. We didn't even realise we did. You know what I mean?
Well, there's good footage I found actually this week of you and the baby maker.
Oh, is there? Oh shit!
It's like a
get rid of that, man.
It's like a hardcore.
That's a Prison Rules match in the National Stadium.
Well, I tell you, I was watching it, and it was obviously, as your friend, I know as much as I know, as any friend knows about their friends' lives and whatever. But looking into, researching for this podcast, really opened my eyes about just the scale of it. As much as I knew about it, I'm just unbelievably wow. When I looked into it more. But watching that match, there's a bit which I'm sure you'll remember.
Where the fuck did you get that?
Man, it's on YouTube, man.
Oh, shit.
I did a good bit of hooking. I'll have to
delete.
Get rid of that. I think it might be kind of crowd footage, but it's such.
Wasn't me. Everybody wasn't me. Promise.
So I don't know how you did it, but they did the tax.
Oh yeah, thumbtacks. Yeah.
Slammed on the tax.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in WWE. Probably what you call Mick Foley would do it.
Yeah.
And it just looks horrendous.
Yeah, it's not.
It just looks the most sore, most painful. How do you even build yourself up for that?
Oh man, you see when you get the adrenaline running through you, you don't feel it. You're more nervous about fucking up out there, and you're more in the moment. And like I get wound up into tizzy before matches. You can ask anybody. I'm pacing backstage, so that you can say what you want about pro wrestling, but when I go out there, I'm real. As in. To me, that there's nothing phony around about it. I'm wound up. You can see it in my eyes. Some people say when I'm staring across the ring from them, they're genuinely shit scared that I've forgotten I've forgotten that this is a show. You know what I mean? But that's just the sort of frenzy I get whipped up into. But I like that because it brings out the best of me. I think the intensity, and when you're at that level, man, you don't you can work through anything. You don't feel it. You really do. And some tax isn't that bad. It's a wee stingy pain. Stingy pain's all right. Like chops and all, they're okay.
There's quite a lot of them.
But it's just But I mean. The stingy pains, you get a nip, nip goes away in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
but when you get a thump like a slam on the concrete or something, that can stay with you for your life. You know what I mean? There's a receipt for that.
Oh, what's the come down like after a big show?
You're
not going straight to bed. No one could sleep after such an adrenaline rush.
Well, usually it's a drive home. And sometimes the drive home from Dublin's awesome because we've traditionally stop at an Apple Green and get a chicken stuffing sandwich and a tin of Diet Coke and a packet of hunky dories and munch like fuck because we've been really good up until show day, and one look good in our trunks, and then we do that. But you're buzzing, and then comes the crash, then you get home and you open a beer and you sit down and then all of a sudden you're like, I mean, you just go from 10 to like -10, and you know, and yeah, the adrenaline wears off, and you're fucked. But yeah, then you just get up the next day, go to the gym, and you're back on track like it never happened, you know.
And the life of a wrestler notoriously is very intense. You're wrestling more than once a week.
Yeah,
you've no real time to recover.
Yeah,
if there's any big bad bumps.
Well, look, that's one thing I'll say. I've always been a weekend warrior. Apart from when I did the tours around Europe, you know. But I have to say, on the tours, I never thought I'd be kind of looking forward to a day off, because I always, you know, love it so much. But when you were doing like 3-4 weeks of it, and you found out you had a day off, and you were like, oh fuck yes, you know, thank God, you know, because it was taxing, you know. Taxing on the body, especially when you weren't used to doing it. You know, man, we're used to doing a show every weekend, or, you know, a couple of months or something like that, and then you go, yeah, you're doing shows every night for weeks and all around the world, and different parts of the world you don't know. Yeah, it was nice to get a couple of days off, but yeah, thankfully I've always kind of been a weekend warrior. So by the time Friday came around, I was excited again, and, you know, ready to rock. Forgotten about the pain of Sunday night, you know, Monday morning.
Okay, so you mentioned wrestling all over Europe. When I was looking into it, and I remember some of the stories you would tell me. We can go through Prince Devitt, known as Finn Balor now, WWE superstar. You have X-Pac, Scotty 2 Hotty, Bret the Hitman Hart, I loved him as a child. He was a total legend.
He's wrestling's god, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Marty
Sorry,
Jannetty.
I'm Shawn Michaels fans, but he's the man.
We'll go down the what did you call it? 1987.
Oh, Montreal.
Montreal Screwjob. We'll not go down there. I'll give you another couple of hours. Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Sonny, and current stars like Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and a guy who's going to be, I think, headlining WrestleMania soon, Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a whole host of more, but
yeah,
those are some of the guys when I was looking up. It's an unreal list of people that generic wrestling fan like myself and other people have all know, and you've wrestled and turned with the best.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've got some great stories about that.
Well, there's probably a lot I can't tell you, but you know, just in case I ever see them again. But no, what a time, you know. And I just got to thank Joey Cabray for American Wrestling Rampage for giving me the opportunity to, you know, for choosing me, you know, the only lad from up north to come and wrestle on the tour with these guys multiple tours. Just what a time, you know. I mean, it was just every lad's dream. I had to be honest, I peaked then, and you know,
I remember,
and I sort of thought like, all right, I'm actually touring with Bret Hart. I'm having lunch with Bret Hart, and there's Tatanka as well. I mean, you remember that picture? You remember that picture,
you know,
Did?
I remember you telling me about this all the time, and like it's kind of what we did at the weekend. I was like, I had a few beers and watched the match. What about yourself? I was with Bret Hart. Just totally surreal. It was just
the most surreal one ever was I was having lunch with Tatanka and Bret Hart. I know this just sounds like bullshit, but it was in Dundalk of all places. It wasn't even anywhere friggin' crazy. But we're walking out of the hotel restaurant, and Bret says, "Is that Hoist Gracie?" Oh my God, it's Hoist Gracie. So me, Bret, and Tatanka went over to introduce ourselves. To like, who's the odd one out here? You know what I mean? You had two wrestling legends and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu god, and then me. You know,
I remember that photo.
I've got it, man. It's you know, I think that's one for the top of the coffin. I think when I'm dead. But just like, yeah, we got to get a picture of this. So there's a picture of Bret, Tatanka, me, and Hoist Gracie. I'm like, wow, nobody's going to believe this, you know. But yeah, what a time, you know, just unreal. I just had some amazing times.
Those memories will last forever.
Oh man, it was crazy. It was so much fun. And you know. This treasure, you know, probably the highlight. But I wouldn't say it was the best wrestling I had in my life ever. I think I've learned a lot since then. I'm still pretty green going into it, but just for a young kid getting to go over, and you know, I was still in the like early 20s back then, or mid 20s anyway. getting to wrestle with Sabu and Rob Van Dam and Balls Mahoney and Scotty T. Hottie, Rene Dupree, and X-Pac, just all these guys, you know, like 10 years prior, I had the figures, you know, on display in the room, and here I am wrestling with you. So it was pretty, yeah. Just you never took it for granted. The whole time you're there, you're just like, yeah, this is awesome. This is living a dream, you know. So it was pretty cool.
I mean, that's a who's who of superstars.
I know, man. I say I'm very lucky, and I'm forever grateful that Joey Cabray, you know, chose me to be part of that. Because I remember it was actually, you know, Bret Hart was my boy. You know, he's the man, and I remember he actually wasn't meant to be on tour. It was meant to be Mick Foley.
Oh, really?
And then I think Mick Foley signed with TNA last minute and had to get a replacement, but they were kind of keeping me in the dark as to who it was. And I'm like, who is it? And I was like, yeah, it's Bret the Hitman Hart. And I was like, you know, I like, this is like a 14-year-old girl in the 90s hearing Robbie Williams was coming to their school, you know what I mean? But like, and then I remember the Belfast Giants trained in David Lloyd's, where I was working at the time, and I was quite friendly with them. And I had the Belfast Giants make up a Giants shirt with Hitman. I can't remember what number it was, number 1 maybe, like that. And I gave it to him, and he, you know, he was very thankful and stuff. And then just later on that year, get the Christmas time, and you know, I was banging the ear off him every day because, you know, he's my hero. And I remember later on that year, my brother was still living in the house with my mum at the time, and my brother says, "There's a Christmas card." He phoned me and said, "There's a Christmas card here, Grant. I think it's from Bret the Hitman Hart." And I was like, it's about fucking time, you know. I was like, wow, I got a Christmas card from the Hitman. So again, like, I'll always be a fanboy. I'm never gonna let on. And you know, I'm not. I'm a big mark. I love these guys. Idolize them, and yeah, just what a time. But
I seen him in the King's Hall. He fought Bam Bam Bigelow in the King's Hall.
Wow.
I still like.
I was probably there too, man. Actually, you know,
I remember running up and getting, you know, when wrestlers used to come in and they used to give high fives out the whole way down.
Yeah.
I got an old high five from Bret the Hitman Hart.
Wow.
I don't think I washed my hand for about 3 days.
I think I got punched by him, but in a good way.
It
was a cage match, and he was the like ringside enforcer. I was coming up to, he wasn't. It was Joe Legend versus somebody. Anyway, I was a bad guy, a heel, and I had to climb up and stop them from getting over the cage. And Bret grabbed me by the foot, and I swung for him. He blocked it. And I think this is a memory cause. It could have been something else, but I think I swung for him. He blocked it and decked me. And God, I felt like I was shot. You know, like if Bret Hart's going to punch you, go down and make it like fucking brilliant. And then Scotty Giatti came out and then started chopping the shit out of me and sent me to the back. But that was my WrestleMania moment right there, dude.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That was awesome.
And now, I remember reading that interview with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Did you wrestle with those guys at the Waterfront Hall?
I did, yeah. It was.
There's an interview online with Drew McIntyre talking about it.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I wrestled with Drew. Well, again, like weird wrestling kind of all comes back around itself. Drew wrestled with Sheamus a lot at the No Limit wrestling shows down south when I was wrestling down there. Mm-hmm. So we were on the same show, but it seemed to always be like Drew. I think I wrestled, it was me and Joey Cabray versus Sheamus and Georgie McFly. Sheamus O'Shaughnessy was back then. But then, like, one of the other shows, it was Drew McIntyre, then Drew Galloway versus Sheamus. So I remember him from back then. And then, fast forward a few years, I'm wrestling for Wrestling.ie, and we're doing a big show in the Waterfront, and it's the Best of Britain. It was me representing, again, the odd one out here or what, me representing Northern Ireland, Drew McIntyre representing Scotland, Magnus, Nick Aldis representing England, and Mason Ryan, who was in NXT and then WWE in Nexus, representing Wales. So it was like a 4-way match with us, you know, so that was pretty cool too.
That's brilliant. I mean, that's just all, I mean, these memories must be just...
Well, they're I've had about 10 concussions, Doco, so I think this is all pretty factual, but I could have dreamt some of this shit up. You never know.
But just even sitting down and having the time to think about all that is just...
Yeah.
Here's me thinking I'm cool by getting a high five from Bret Hart, and you've been punched by him and been wrestling on tour.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's pretty cool. It's a Christmas card, man, that got me, you know.
Yeah.
Well, he probably walked past you the street and wouldn't remember me at all, but still, you know, I have a moment with him, you know.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
100%. Still to this day, yet to be dethroned as the best ever.
Now,
unreal.
When I was, again, looking over stuff this week, there's a lot of and footage I'd actually seen before, back in the day, but I watched you and Prince Devil.
Yeah. Fergal.
Yeah.
I was
I know him as Finn Balor now, but you seem to have a good rivalry with him.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wrestled for Wrestling.ie. Big shout out to Stephen Muldoon, the owner of that. And we wrestled. That was brilliant. We did. These were kind of like family-based shows. We did pretty much every weekend for like over 10 years. Like every weekend, all over the country. And you know, occasionally Steve would bring in for a bigger show a name, and you know, he brought in then Prince David, now Finn Balor. This was just pretty much on the cusp of signing with WWE.
Yeah.
So I think he just finished New Japan or something. He was getting ready to go there, and he was coming back. So I got to do like maybe 3 shows. Like it was his best of 3 series, me and him. And he's a gentleman. He's the nicest bloke. He was so easy to wrestle with. He's total natural. And that's when I found out that we actually had crossed paths in Hammerlock years ago. As I said, man, it's weird, the wrestling world. We all kind of have somehow woven together in the past and always end up coming back. It's very strange, but
you always does seem a bit of a brotherhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nothing. You know, you might be stuck in a car or a bus with people that you have absolutely nothing in common with whatsoever, other than wrestling, and that is a unique bond to have with somebody, because everybody in the world that's not in that bubble has no idea what it is.
Yeah.
So you've got this like this thing in common which sort of binds you, and there's just like, you know, when I see the boys, you know, it's not a handshake, a cordial handshake. It's a hug and a kiss, you know, on the cheek, which might sound a bit weird, but that's just what we do, you know. And when we're leaving, you know, getting out of the car or saying goodbye, it's like, I love you, dude. Love you too. You know, just like it's weird, but that's what it is. And I genuinely, you know, there was never a moment in a car ride or anything that's awkward, or backstage. It's just so much fun. I really missed that. You know what I mean? I actually really. It's only I've been getting back and doing shows recently that. I mean, I'm a ball bag backstage. I just fucking get on like a 4-year-old, you know, and just try and wind people up and hide things on them and stuff, just for shits and giggles. Just big immature bugger. But
I can verify you are the best hugger I know.
Oh
you
man,
do the best hugs. But backstage, you were talking there about.
Don't you know? Yeah, we're wearing clothes. Promise.
Far apart.
Yeah, we'll put them back on before we started podcast. You know.
You did talk about more recently doing more shows.
Yeah, I have been back doing a bit, man. I've been.
When I asked a few people, I was telling them I was going to be interviewing you in a podcast.
Yeah.
Pretty much the first question is he making a full comeback?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, full comeback. Wrestling once, twice a month, you know, just, you know, whenever the bat signal goes up, man, you know, these people need a hero, you know, so I'm really joking. No, do you know what, I've been toying with it and itching with it. You know, I've been taking my son to the OTT shows, and yeah, he loves it, and he's like, so, like, I'm starstruck by these guys. I'm like, yeah, I've wrestled them before. Like, yeah, right, Dad, okay, I believe you. I'm like, I flipping did, son. I was all right back in the day. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I was like, oh, do you know what? I really got to show that wee shit that I freaking can do this, you know, and prove him wrong. So it was actually a bit of a stalemate, though. I kind of wanted to get back into it, but you know, like, you don't want to be the guy to ask the girl to flip a, go for a dance in case she says no. I didn't want to put myself out there because I think the rejection would have just fucking killed me. My ego just wouldn't have taken it, but I was kind of chomping at the bit, man, thinking about, I'd love to do a bit, I'd love to do a bit. Jackson would love me to come back and stuff. Because I kind of, he did see me wrestle shows before, but he was too young to remember.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I kind of really wanted you to see it, and remember it. But so then this was pretty cool. Joe got in touch with me. What about it, Grant? Do you want to come back for the Belfast show? Are you up for it? And I was like, fuck yeah, just. And from that moment on, I don't know, man. I just felt like the charger had gone into the battery, and I was revived again. I was like, oh man, I really want to do this. So the best part was I completely kept it from my family and my friends and everybody. Nobody knew. So I had said to my mate Neil, because he had come to the shows with me before with his kids and Jackson, and we'd gone up, the four of us. I said, Neil, you want to go to this show? I'll get us the seats and stuff. I just need. Only thing is, I have to work. I'll be down a wee bit later. So he brought Jackson and his son Freddie and to the show, and he's messaging me the whole time saying, where are you, mate, and blah blah blah. I said, look, I'll be there as soon as possible. We're stuck in traffic here, blah blah blah. So the Kings of the North are getting beat up at by 3-on-4 beatdown. It was demo, and the Kings of the North are getting beat down now. And then the Kings of the North music kicked in, and out I came, and I was like, oh fuck, are people going to remember me, or is this going to be, who the fuck is that middle-aged twat there with all the scribbles on him, or what? But wow, I got a hell of a pop, and I saw my kid in the crowd like gobsmacked. He had no clue this was happening.
That's my
Well, he doesn't sound like Cartman. I don't know what that was. But he was, so like, and Neil was just like, fuck's sake, God, we got that from me, man. I was like, oh, I don't want to tell you. It's one of the other surprise. It was kind of, to me, there was three people in that audience that night, and it was the three of them, and so that was a moment. And then I went and grabbed the wee man and brought him into the ring afterwards, and it's just like, that car ride home was pretty cool, because he was proud of his dad. I think, I think he just thought I was a knob up until that point, which I am, but yeah, at least I know.
I bet you he's straight into school telling everyone.
Yeah, then I did that set up a match. So I went back and did the match there just before Christmas. He came to watch as well. Him and his mates from football went and watched it, and loved it. And I thought, you sort of doubt yourself with years of injuries and whatnot. Can you still go? But I've kept myself very active and rehabbed all my old injuries and whatnot, and I think I can still go, So then got the bug for it, but did 2 shows, not last weekend, the weekend before, one in Dublin, one in Belfast, and then I'm in, next weekend I'm in, this could be controversial, London Derry, to do another OTT show, so I'm excited for it, man. I'm loving it, and I think, to be honest, in the time off, I probably learned more about wrestling than I did while I was in there.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of Jim Cornette and stuff, and talking about the psychology of wrestling and all the things. And actually, that's what kind of inspired me to get back. So I thought, fuck, I think I have a better mind for this now than I did when I was active, and I would like to implement it, But the first show back, it was like the boys were like, Grant, you can do an acai moonsault. I'm like, boys, fuck off. I'm 40 years old, and I deliberately got new wrestling bits, which are stiff as a board, and so I wouldn't be tempted to do any shit, And I said, well, you could, all right. And I'm like, right, we'll leave it. If it happens, it happens. Well, sure enough, I went down and I fucking did it. And I was like,
adrenaline's up.
I was like, come on, now, fuck. Come on, boy, And I was like, yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Is there a line of shows coming up then?
Just man, whenever they need me. I'm an extremely busy man, but I will drop everything to be part of those, because again, look, the window's kind of closing. You know, I'm 40 now, and I know that's. You know, I know I've got a few good years left in me.
That's good. But 40's young in wrestling terms these days.
Yeah, but you know, there's a lot of mileage in this 40-year-old body. You know, so I just know that coming into it, just if I can still go, I want to still go. You know, the moment I can't do what I used to do, or the moment I have to put on a t-shirt to come to the ring because my daddies are around my knees, that's when it's time to friggin' wrap it up, you know, and become a ringside enforcer. Like
I think if your heart's still on it, your passion's there. You can see in your eyes like you're.
Yeah. Oh man, just again, it was lovely. I honestly felt like I'd come alive again. You know, it was a big piece of the puzzle missing from my life for a while there, and.
But I don't think it's something you could do half-assed. You'd have to be back in it, wouldn't you?
Well,
you have to be really up for it to do it.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I suppose if you're doing it regularly, 10 years on the slot, you know, on the rock, and doing it every weekend, you can't take it for granted. When you take a break out of it, and then you don't know if people want you anymore, if people remember you anymore, if people, you know, or if you can still do it, and then you come back and you get a taste for it, and you're doing okay. You know, you can hang with these young lads, and you can still go at the level that's respectable, but now you're kind of like you really appreciate it, like, you know what I mean? It's like you've been starving and you finally get food doing it again. It's like, you know, when I'm out there, I'm nervous and intense and I'm shaking, but I mean I'm savouring it now, you know. Not dreading it. I'm lapping it up and just taking it all in while I can, you know.
Fantastic. And now outside the ring, I just want to touch on quickly. Obviously, everyone knows you as Dunkan Disorderly.
Nobody knows me as that, man. Everybody knows me as Grando.
Delicious Donkey D.
It's just that little small niche community of wrestling fan.
Delicious Donkey D. Don't forget him.
Oh, delicious! That was.
Is that in France or something?
Yeah, that was in France. That was. There's probably footage of that. I was a heel when I was in France, and I was.
Did you enjoy being a heel, or did you prefer being a face?
Fucking loved it.
Really?
Loved it. So easy to get people to hate you. Like it's much harder to get them to like you. Yeah. So, yeah, delicious Donkey Day. Not my. I didn't come up with that. I think it was Jamie Coleman came up with that. Shout out to Jamie. Love you, dude. Came up with delicious Donkey Day, and he gave me this music, and I went out and did like the Alex Wright dance in pink trunks, and just pretty much take Davison Rick Rude and kind of camp him up a bit, I guess, you know. And that was delicious Donkey Day, but it was so easy, man. You go out thinking you love yourself, and you know, covered in baby oil and flexing any chance you get, and people hate you. It's just like, man, it's easy, you know.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to always, you know, love all the good guys.
Yeah. And
my dad always loved the bad guys, you know, to wind me
up. Yeah.
And WrestleMania, this is one of my moments that I'm not particularly proud of, but supporting the Hulkster when he was fighting Sergeant Slaughter WrestleMania 7, and Sergeant Slaughter was an Iraqi sympathiser. Remember, we had the Iraqi
yeah. And
my dad would come in and go on Sarge, I hope Sarge beats Hulkster. And I turned him at that. I was maybe 8 or 9, you know, sort of kind of maybe 10.
Yeah.
I think it was, 1981?
Yeah.
I'd have been 8 or 9. And aware of there's like an Iraqi war going on, but not
yeah.
No, and I turned to my dad and went, why do you like him? He's an Iraqi sympathiser. Like I knew what that meant, but of course that just made my dad laugh, and it used to really wind me up that he used to always support the bad guy.
Oh man!
But
so I kind of like the bad guys too, though. I remember $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Yeah. I loved a bit of the $1 Million Man. You know,
that laugh was laugh still brilliant.
Oh no, man! Oh god, I wish I had that laugh. Yeah, I'd love him to narrate my eulogy at my funeral. I think that'd be awesome with a big laugh at the end. Yeah, that'd be class. Him or Kelsey Grammer. I love Kelsey Grammer's got a sexy voice. If anybody's reading my eulogy, Kelsey, if you're listening, I know you probably are, you know. But you know, if you're free, whenever it might be, you know.
Well,
I'll pay you in wrestling figures, man.
If I'm still there, I'll put the word out to him. I just want to touch on that. So outside of wrestling, you have this big, massive business called Zeus Fitness. You are getting millions upon millions of views. You have a YouTube channel. You have a whole big gym here.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that's grown. So.
Well, you might have sexed it up a wee bit there, Dago. But well, I run this gym. We're sitting in the kitchen of the gym right now doing this podcast. Just so you know, just finished work an hour ago. I've been running this gym now, self-employed over 10 years now, and I started the gym, or opened this gym 7 years ago. So I run classes every day, 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 6:30 p.m., then a personal train the rest of the day, and then I also have another business called Zeus Fitness. Sorry, my gym's called ZTZ Fitness, by the way. If you look up ZeusTrainingZone.com, if you want to have that nosy information, just plug it there. Then the sort of side project of that is Zeus Fitness, which is our YouTube channel and our online business, Zeus Fitness. Check it out on YouTube. It's something we've been chipping away at for over 10 years, me and I've got two business partners in that. They came to me with the idea. I provide the content. They do all the internet wizardry, and we pretty much film every day for it. So yeah, it's going good, man. It's going good. That you always, this day and age when you're self-employed, you got to have a few fingers in a few different pies, because you know, if gym membership's slacking, you pick up the strain with the personal training, or you pick up the strain with the online business and stuff. So if you have all your eggs in one basket after the pandemic, you're probably gonna drive yourself insane, you know. So I'm always doing something. Which is why I work 7 days a week. Always do. From 6 a.m. in the morning to 6:30 or 7:30 at night. But just fitness, yeah, it's going good, man. We got quite a few thousand hits a day. Some of our videos have done really well. We just hit 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, and with that, we've got an online sort of subscription membership where you get all our premium products. So we're constantly shooting those, like 6-week programs and stuff, as well as all the free YouTube stuff. So keeps me busy, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So it's yeah, somebody's watching them anyway. So thanks, whoever you are. Appreciate it. So.
Okay. If you're okay with another couple of minutes, I've just got a few questions for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say listeners' questions, but I haven't had any listeners yet. That's the very first podcast.
All right, okay.
But what I did, there was a fellow I work with, Michael. I'll give him a shout out. Michael, thanks for this. I told him I was interviewing you, and he said, have you any questions for him? And he says, yeah, he's got a couple. So I've kind of put them in a bit of a list here.
Okay.
And if you're happy enough, we'll do maybe like a quick question thing.
Okay.
Just some yes or no's, some maybe you want to expand on.
Bring it on.
Some you don't want to answer, just go, shut up.
All right.
Okay.
I'll just give you a look. Yeah.
So this is the final part of the podcast, so be pleased to know.
Okay.
So, your greatest rival?
No comment. No, I'm joking. Let me see, greatest rival. Do you know what? Probably just because I've wrestled him so many times on a weekly basis at all the wrestling.ie shows. Probably, no offense to everybody else, I love you all, but probably Paul Tracy, the Lord of the Manor, Paul Tracy. We just had great chemistry. We headlined every show in every town all around Ireland, Northern Ireland, for so long. We didn't even need to talk to each other. We just went out and did it, and he always took care of me, and vice versa, and we always tore it up, you know. So,
have you one particular favourite match that you're involved in?
Me personally?
Yeah. Is there one highlight that you can look back on and think, that was cool?
That would be the one I would like people to see. Yeah. Fucking I don't watch them back, dude. That's the problem. Because I'm a horrible self-critic. Like I'm too critical of myself. I can't think. I'm pretty proud of most of the matches with Finn Balor, with Fergal Devitt. Yeah, he carried me though. He was awesome. I just went along for the ride. But yeah, the off the top of my head, those would be one of the ones. Okay,
what's your finishing move called?
Currently, I'm doing a frog splash off the top. The boys, my two partners, tag team partners. No, I'm not in the throuple. I don't know of anyway. They get them up for fireman's carry, big boot. They land, and I hit the frog splash off the top. So that's kind of my go-to now.
What is your favourite finishing move of any other wrestler
of all time?
Yeah. Guys you've worked with, or guys you haven't worked with,
or just of anybody I admired over the years. Oh God. God almighty, that's a good question, Doggo. There's so many angles you go from. Like, I mean, Randy Orton's RKO is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, it's just been replicated so many times by so many people. If it's not Randy Orton doing it, it's not good. But I just think it's one of those moves you could hit on anybody. You could hit on The Undertaker, you could hit on Rey Mysterio. So from a wrestling point of view, it works for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go RKO.
RKO out of nowhere.
Oh, absolutely. It's the only kind.
Okay, growing up, WWF or WCW?
WWF until Bret Hart got screwed in Montreal, and then I went full-fledged WCW. I don't know. That's another podcast altogether. But then I jumped ship to WCW.
Favorite wrestler as a kid?
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Of all time?
All time.
All time. Okay. If you had to choose to be either a little warrior or a Hulkamaniac?
Warrior.
Little warrior?
A warrior.
I was a full-time Hulkamaniac.
I know.
Full-time Hulkamaniac.
That's because your dad looked like Hulk Hogan. You got loyalty. No, warrior just... I got the warrior tattooed on my ribs, I'm ashamed to say. He was... Man, I don't know. There's certain wrestlers that give off this energy of just fucking intensity that... Like Goldberg one, Warrior another one, just like... This guy thinks this is legit and he's off his rocker. And the Warrior was just, for me... Like, you know, not the greatest wrestler of all time. He didn't need to be, man. That guy just, he
had the X factor, didn't he?
He had something.
He
like,
had that,
he was,
what he had. It was,
and just no matter what, it could be a superstars match. You heard that, and, you know, the music. I mean, jeez, if you ever need to get up, you ever need motivation for the gym, you get the Warriors music on, man.
Well, man, that's what I was saying.
You'll be shaking. They got the squat rack, grabbing that barbell and shaking it up and down and fucking giving it stacks.
I'll
you know,
last about 10 seconds, but I'll be up for those 10 seconds. That's what I said earlier on. My favourite ever sporting moment was WrestleMania 8 when the Ultimate Warrior returned.
Oh, really? Man,
when the Hulkster was getting his ass kicked by Sid Justice and a sneaky Papa Shango. He was late coming in, and I think Gorilla Monsoon goes, or Bobby Heenan says, Beefcake can't help him.
Yeah.
Boom, bum, 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 bum. That's the Warriors music. That still gives me a wee bit of... I might have to go home and watch it. Like,
it was a moment, I think.
As a pop, man, it was an unbelievable pop. As a kid.
Do you know what?
Well,
you know what marred it for me a little bit? Because of the steroid trial and everything.
No.
He came back and I was wondering, is that the same guy? Because he'd lost so much muscle mass that it didn't mean as much to me as... And I don't get me wrong, I was hyped as fuck when I saw him.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me thinking, is that the same dude? I didn't want to... You know,
I didn't cop on to all that. I just remember as a 9-year-old kid thinking he hadn't been seen for like 6 months or something in wrestling. Yeah, it was just the greatest moment of. Well,
you see, I'll take you back 1 year to that was WrestleMania 8. Yeah, you're right. So let's take you back 1 year for one of my favorite WrestleMania moments. Probably, but yeah, sorry, my favorite WrestleMania moment. Warrior Macho King retirement match. Fuck me, that had everything, dude. I remember going the watch out for it. Go on the network and watch it. Look at that kid look at that kid in the crowd with a fucking floppy hat on, guarding his lamps. It looks like Rick Moranis fucking guarding his eyes out. Man, that was special. When fucking Elizabeth and Savage got together. And the Warrior talking to his hand, is this his destiny? And I recently just went on eBay with a couple of beers in me one night and got those two figures, Warrior in the full WrestleMania 8 gear, Macho Man the full WrestleMania 7 gear, and the Macho Man in that. Yeah, it was like, and I had the trunks in the back of it. It was the title belt and said more than this, or much more than this. And he had Savage on his knee pad, and he had him in his arm. Everything about that to me was. That was WrestleMania.
That was Warrior's best ever match, wasn't it? Not often he did long matches.
No, 100%. Randy Savage fucking made him like $1 million that night.
Well, that's actually my next question. Ric Flair or Macho Man?
Oh, Macho Man.
Woo!
Sorry.
You do the... Let me hear it, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Did you see what I think you said? Yeah.
Man, I remember one of the few times we've been out for beers, that comes out... That's pretty good.
Far better when I'm drunk, man. The impressions are so much better when I'm drunk.
Yeah. Stone Cold or The Rock?
Stone Cold.
Hardest bump that you've ever taken?
Oh. Well, Two come to mind. Both broke my back. I was doing a triple threat match with Sean Maxer and Eugene, who was in WWE. And Eugene had Maxer in a headlock. Eugene's about 6'5". I bounced off the rope. He just ducked down to give me a back body drop, but he had no hands free to give me a wee hoist over. So I went straight up in the air, tucked my head last minute because I'm going to land in my front and my legs are going to come over the top of me, or land in my back. And so I tucked my head last minute and I landed right on my top of my shoulders, but my toes came down, touched the ground behind me, and I felt nothing, like I couldn't feel my legs. And I remember, shout out to Jimmy Coleman again, his advice as the ring announcer was, Grant, just breathe. I'm like, yeah, thanks for that, Jimmy. That's great advice right now, yeah. Yeah, where have you been all my life? Anyway, but then again, here's the mad adrenaline thing. I flipping started to feel my feet again, and they were just wrestling on, ad-libbing. Like, fucking Sean went for the cover, 1, 2, and I jumped in and fucking broke up the count, and I wrestled on and got through that match, and then I had to get a stretcher, get an injection in my back and all sorts, and compressed a disc in my spine. So.
Jesus Christ.
But then the other one was an OTT match. It was Mark Haskins, Flip Gordon, and Ray Phoenix from AEW against the Kings of the North, me, Bonesaw, Corbin, and I went for a tope over the top and to the outside, so just like, you know, Undertaker's dive, basically, over the top. But I think Mark Haskins thought I was going through the ropes. So he was standing a bit closer to the ring, and I sailed over the top. And again, last minute, oh fuck, there's nobody here. So again, last minute decision, tuck the head and take the bump, and landed square on my back. I just jumped over the rope and landed in the concrete in my back, and wrestled to the back. And the guy said, "Just stay here, man." I was like, "No, I'm fine. Keep going." And then I somehow got through the match, won with a frog splash, mad, you know. And then I got backstage and grabbed my stuff. Oh shit! Sorry, it fell off my stool. Grabbed my stuff because I felt myself seizing up when the adrenaline was going, and I drove home in my wrestling gear from Mandela Hall, and I couldn't look left or right, so I was just taking a chance. And I remember getting to the front door, like in my wrestling gear, and I'm like, I'm fucked here. Then, and I remember, it's like, could somebody take off my boots? I can't reach them. And my stepdaughter flipping made me pay her $5 to take off my boots. That's fucking love for you, you know. And anyway, so there you go. So those two bumps.
They sound pretty grim, dude. Like.
Well, I was at the gym the next day, you know.
That's it.
I got a cancellation with one of my clients, so I went to A&E and then found out, you cracked a vertebrae. I'm like, that'll explain it, you know.
No one's getting through a wrestling career without getting injured, surely.
Yeah, it's
That's
more
it's
the brain ones I'm worried about. Took a lot of concussions over the years, and you know they'll probably come back to haunt me later on in life. But we'll never worry about that. Here for a good time, not for a long time, you know.
Gorilla Monsoon or Jim Ross?
This place has gone bananas every time, man. It's gotta be Gorilla Monsoon. Just because nostalgia. Probably Jim Ross better commentator, but just for the voice of my childhood, it's gotta be Monsoon.
Cool, look.
He's the man. 5
wrestlers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, past or present, that you would like to go for beers with. Or maybe you've already had beers with them all.
That's a good question. Stone Cold.
Okay. In the style of Stone Cold, drinking them like that, you know, spraying about the place.
Hell yeah! No, he wasted a lot. To be honest with you. That's a crime against beer. So Stone Cold will be one of them. Bret again, just I would love to pick his brain. This guy wouldn't be having a beer, but CM Punk, I'd love to chat to him. Just great, you know, what a guy. I just think he's got a wrestling brain that would you learn so much from. Who else, man? Past or present? Brian Pillman. I adored Brian Pillman. Man, I don't think I've ever mourned anybody like Brian Pillman when he died. I swear to God. But anyway,
it's like 25 years or something.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
One more.
Undertaker. Wow, why the hell did I not think of that one? Yeah.
I think mine would be a Hulkster and 4 Stacey Keeblers. Legion of Doom or Demolition?
LOD.
Yeah,
That's close, actually.
Yeah.
No, man. Do you know, funny, I was always more of a demo. Fuck, it's on the surface. I don't
One of the
know.
early Royal Rumbles, Demolition of the first 2 out.
Yeah.
And I
Looks
remember
like
as a
it's
kid
going to be a
going
long night for you.
Yeah.
When they pulled the number, me too. And then, oh man, yeah. No,
as a kid, I remember like, what's going to happen? I couldn't believe what's going to happen here.
I admit,
And they just went for it.
Demolition's theme tune, man. I still listen to that in the gym. That was
yes.
unbelievable. I just don't think you get away with wearing that gear in 2023, did. But,
Can't imagine.
But they were the hardest looking motherfuckers in the world. Like, but put somebody in that gear in 2000, Kings of the North come out in that, there'd be a few questions asked,
What's your thoughts on current wrestling compared to the old days? Local, international.
In general, that's probably going to lose me a few fans. Better athletes these days, tougher men in the olden days, better storytellers in the olden days, newer people coming through, I think, are relying too much on athleticism and flashy moves rather than ring psychology.
Yeah.
Like, I think, look at Jake the Snake. The man never left his feet, look. And he had you, look. He had you in the palm of his hand the whole time.
His promos as well were so slow and so...
He was just a
you listen to
creepy motherfucker, really. Yeah. But he owned you when he had, So, I'd say... But look, here we're all guilty of it because Booker T told me the same years ago, and I was like, yeah, well, blah, 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 and argued back, and I wish I hadn't because what the fuck did I know? But just because you can do all the flashy moves doesn't mean you should. I think sometimes keep them for special occasions. Work more on working the crowd over and whipping them up into a frenzy by doing less. Really, less is more. And yeah, I would love to see. There's a merger that I think sometimes I admire the athleticism of what the guys can do these days, right? But I also admire the fact that the guys back in the day didn't have to do as much and got a stronger reaction. If we could merge them in some way to make... We've got the athleticism to be better than the old guys, but none of them have the personality, in my opinion, these days, to be as much of a superstar and have a presence like the guys.
Is it relied upon as much? Back in the day, you kind of had to promote yourself, didn't you? You cut your own promos. These days, is it more like Vince just has a...
I think that's more scripted because they need it. They need the guidance. Whereas back in the day, they already proved themselves as stars coming in. That was the developmental system that they're learning how to cut promos and they're learning how to wrestle in the WWE, so they're being told and coached a certain way. But when Jake the Snake, he didn't start in WWF, he was all over in the Mid-Atlantic and AWA and all that, honing his craft. So he came in a ready-made star, and I think that's, when he comes in, he didn't need any coaching or anything, how to do it, or any scripts written for him. Yeah. But and a lot of the guys were the same. But I just, but I think some people do need a script because it maybe brings out the personality that they maybe struggle to get across. Yeah. So there's case by case basis.
Yeah.
Some people need it, some people don't.
Yeah. Do you still watch WWE and AEW? And if so, do you still follow us closely? And what would you prefer these days?
I still watch WWE, not as much. I watch more football these days, Dunkan, believe it or not. My son's mad into it, so I'm actually missing a fucking Arsenal match right now against Man City just to talk to you, but anyway. I'm a bit nervous about it anyway. I think I'd rather just watch the results afterwards. As I watch more WWE, I think AEW was super exciting at the start, but I think one thing we've learned from it is that I don't think they have a long-term storyline that can come to a lovely head and make a new star. I think they bring in guys that have a big pop at the start and they fizzle out quickly because they've got too many people on the roster. There's no long-term storytelling. they don't seem to have a plan for them other than let's put them in front of the camera, get a big pop, and then we'll figure them in every 4 weeks. Whereas you're watching the WWE and what they're doing with the Bloodline storyline is fucking epic. I mean, it is unbelievable what they're doing. And Sami Zayn, my boy, Rami, shout out to him, wrestled him many years ago. They're just playing their parts so well to the point where I'm totally invested, and so is Jackson, and that's what we watch. We watch that. But I still think 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, and 2 hours of Dynamite every week's a bit much. You know, I can lucky if I get through a 24-minute of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia every night without falling asleep. So yeah.
Right. 2 more questions.
Okay.
Who do you think is the most underrated wrestler about today? Is there anyone maybe on with yourselves, touring with yourselves, or anyone in the bigger promotions who thinks underrated or maybe doesn't get used the way they should?
That's a thinker. Off the top of my head, somebody here I think's got an amazing wrestling brain that I never saw coming until I had to work with him is Zach Gibson. I'm not sure what his current name is in WWE. I think they changed it. That guy he just got it. He had psychology. Coming up with matches with him, he was thinking way outside what everybody else was. And I thought he's actually a star. Yeah, he's actually got the brain for it, like nobody else I was speaking to in the locker room. Yeah. So Zach Gibson.
He just got it.
Yeah, he just thought on a different level. You know?
Yeah.
So him.
Okay, here's the final question then.
Yeah.
One wrestler that you would like to fight in the ultimate fantasy
match
for yourself. Past or present. Delicious Dunky D is headlining.
I would have to be Bret the Hitman Hart.
Bret the Hitman.
Or
how's the match going to go?
Can I have a 3?
You
well, sorry,
can I have as many as you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
so number 1 Bret the Hitman Hart, number 2 Kurt Angle.
Yep.
Number 3 Rey Mysterio. Be 3 very different matches.
Yeah.
But those guys, unbelievable.
The psychology of that first match would be unreal.
I just Bret, what do I do? Just to keep me right. You know everything. I'm not even going to fucking say anything. Just tell me what to do. You know,
that would be unreal.
You just learn so much.
3 in 1 night, you could do that. King of the Ring.
What fuck? 3 in 1 year is going to be a struggle, dude. Never mind 3 in 1 night. But yeah, it would be that. I would love to. Kurt Angle, just different breed. I didn't mention him enough. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. And Rey Mysterio, totally different style altogether. But my God, that guy is a freak of nature, and it's unbelievable. So
brilliant.
That's it.
Well,
I got to wrap it up here, Doc. I know you're going to do an outro here, but I am really need a piss, and I have to collect my daughter from gymnastics.
How can anyone get in contact with you? If you want to contact you or see you? Websites and social medias.
Check out OTT Wrestling on the interweb for upcoming events. We'll do Europa and we'll do down south as well. And check out ZeusTrainingZone.com if you're interested. Anybody in the local area looking for a gym to come train in, that's my one. And check out Zeus Fitness on YouTube, and leave a comment, and I'll probably say it and might get back to you if I've got time, but I'm not promising that.
Well, I would like to thank you so much for giving me your time tonight.
Doc, absolute pleasure, buddy. Great to catch up with you.
So much,
you're very welcome, bud. And next time, let's get a night out.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up the very first Lodcast. So I'd like to thank Grant for his time. Hopefully, we're going to do a few more episodes. Maybe one about Cheltenham coming up soon. So please, if you can, tune in. If you want to get in contact with the podcast, I actually don't have anything set up, but you could follow. I think you might be able to hear Grant in the background there. Hit me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. It's just @PartyDoco. Anyway, thanks very much, Grant, and we'll see you soon.